All righty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody had a lovely day. And with that being said, let's dive in to the TA. Guys, we had a bullish close today. Markets continuously get the opportunity to sell with this morning's gap down. And then what happens? We don't sell. All right, ever so slight, doesn't matter, guys. The bears keep getting their shot to sell this market, and the bulls keep stepping in on every single dip and dragging it back up. I do think it's only a matter of time until SPY over here is back at all-time highs. All right, your resistance on SPY, you're watching 605.36, and above there we have nothing until 610.78. Above there, 615. Downside is support, you have 602.13. That's a big spot. Okay, so we got over that spot today, and we knew from there, all right, you didn't have anything until you came up here to 605.36. All right, so we, based out. You had a range over here, you broke above it, tested, the 15-minute 9 EMA here, top of the previous range, and then you continued on. Okay, literally rode that 15-minute 9 EMA up all day. All right. So, I think this market just wants to continue pushing higher. That's going to be the bias. I think VIX, I spoke about in my last video. I think VIX is going to continue crushing. But, support over here, 602.13, 599.70, 597.75, 594.64. Coming over here to QQ, we have a very similar look. All right. We'll just come down to the 15-minute time frame, guys. All right. Very similar look. You broke out from your little range over here, based above the range. You had a little bull flag. You broke up from that, and you continued on higher. Okay. QQQ, we can see, is about to break that 0.786 fib right here. Right. So this is the most recent drop it just had. If we break above 527.15, that does tell us we're probably going to make it back up here to 531.24. I'm not saying that's about to be what happens tomorrow, but you break here, the odds increase that you are going to have 100% retracement, which in this case is 531.24. All right. We're just going to take that off of the chart. We'll take that off of the chart just to make it a little cleaner here. On the upside is resistance. You have 528.15. Get above there. We have 531.24, 533.82, and then 539.15. On the downside of support, you have 525.97, 523, 520.85, and 518.21. Coming over here to IWM, and guys, you did reclaim with yesterday's close. You got back above the short-term moving average over here on the daily time from the 9 and the 21. That's this white and blue line here. The blue is the 9, white is the 21 EMA. We got above them with our daily close yesterday, as well as we reclaimed this 224.66 to 226.64 supply zone, and we are flipping it back into demand. All right, so you had to reclaim here before anything can really happen here. And now it looks like you want to just straight up test 230.55, which we couldn't get our, butts up there before. But it looks like you want to do it probably tomorrow. 230.55, above 230.55, you have nothing until 233.40. That's your 0.618 Fibonacci retracement from this whole most recent move down. All right, and above there, 235.92. Come over here to DIA, guys. And DIA was our little hint we got off of Monday. Okay, you immediately reclaimed your daily 9 over here. You got to close like right on it / above it, and you bounce right on the 21 EMA over here on the daily time frame. It is very likely that this thing is or it was going to drag itself back up to highs, and we said if this thing dragged itself back up, well, the others are probably going to follow that. That's pretty much what's going on here. DIA is leading the way. You are about to see a new all-time high above 451.55. Probably going to be tomorrow, but we will see how this goes. Amazon earnings are Thursday after the bell. Okay? All right. So tomorrow after the bell, guys, we're going to have the final big tech earning. We'll see if it finally tanks the market. We've had no luck on any of the big tech stocks besides Meta. Meta did end up going up, but everything else, guys, kind of took a dive. So, well, Apple went up, but then it took a dive afterwards. But with this in mind, Amazon, I will not be surprised if you make it back up today or tomorrow ahead of earnings up here, back up to the highs. Hey, you might want to take some profits off and then, wait and see what happens after earnings. I know the chart looks really great, but then again, we had Google's chart over here looking phenomenal going into earnings. And then today, what the heck did we get? We got a 7% gap down. So, I know Amazon looks really good, but it might not be the worst idea to take some risk off into that event, even, considering this is a really bullish weekly and daily chart we got going on here. Just an idea. Okay, just a thought. There is that. And before we actually go over the FANG stocks, I just want to point out over here on VIX, guys, you didn't have the most bearish candle last week. It was kind of just in between. Today, or this week, you now have a bearish engulfing candlestick on the weekly time frame. You have continued selling over here today. All right, you had your big, move up, and I told you guys the fact that this did not hold kind of gave us a hint that, hey, that probably is going to mark the top for that volatility spike like we normally see once the red bars start. And then we're going to start selling. All right. Anytime you start spiking up, once you start getting the first red bar, you typically are going to, you hit your peak there and you're going to start crushing. That's typically what we see. And that's what we're going off of over here. And now we are back at that 1571 mark we said on this day right here that we're probably going to make our way back down to. From here, let's see if we got a bounce out of here. Let's see the hourly RSI. It's down to oversold territory. So if it's going to spike, it's probably going to be down from here. Do we have the 15-minute bullish divergence carving out? Yes, we do. All right. So, maybe markets pull back. Expect that pullback to be eaten up considering what's been going on here. And I do think King Nvidia is going to keep, pushing the market along here. All right. Now, speaking of King Nvidia, we're going to actually start off with that. So this will start off with the Mag 7 stocks over here. You did close out near the highs today. You had a 5.2% day and you closed out above. Okay. Above. Well, not above. You closed like right on it. Okay. 125, guys. The next level above 125 is really just going to be that 130 cycle level. I know. Yeah, right here. This was the line that I was thinking was going to be there. It wasn't. I had it a little off. It was down there. But above 525, guys, we have nothing to 127.67, and then above there 131.26. If you want another level in between there, you can watch 128.99. All right. I do think we're probably going to get some resistance here. We're going to have to see if it blows right past it. But guys, if you're with me and you bought in down here near 120 and then you bought again down here near 114, 115, if you were with me making these buys and you're in the March calls, your game plan buying down here was to sell up here for around, 90 to 100%. Guys, at 129, 130, we're going to be up 100% just about. Do not forget to take off those profits. I know I'm personally, I'm going to straight up just de-risk as we come in here into this 127.67 to 130.126 supply zone up there. You can see this is strong support. All right. It's where you broke out from. You broke down from it. You sold off it. You sold off it. Expect sellers though. Do not expect just to get bought up through it. If it happens, that's great. Okay, that's great. We're probably going to come up here into the golden pocket, which is 144.50 down to 137.70. All right, we probably are. We're probably going to make it back up to 140 psychological level and 141.90 resistance right there. We probably will. But does that mean you have to play it? No. If you're a buyer down here, you're probably up big by the time you get up here. Okay, March calls are going to be up. April calls are going to be up bigly as well. All right, we're not talking 90 to 100%. We're talking 50 to 60%, but you're still up bigly. This was the game plan. Remember to take your profits. This was going to be my trade of the week here. This was my main focus. We're the only stock, the only big trade I'm just watching this week is going to be over here on Nvidia. And I'm telling you guys, this is it playing out in real time. And you have to always be moving your money around. If you're putting it down here, you're taking it out up here. We wait to it to start getting closed up here. Maybe it comes back, retest this area. That's when you can get back in. All right. That's the game plan over here on Nvidia. All right. We make money. We move on to the next. That's the idea.
Looks easy.
There you go. I hope you guys are making money. I hope y'all are killing it. We're up quite a bit. Come over here to Goog, as we mentioned before. You kind of just shot the bet over here. All right, Goog, you ended up coming all the way back down here to your previous all-time high zone, your demand zone. You did find buyers, and this morning I pointed out. All right, 4-hour RSI, it is down in that spot. It's been getting bought up at. Okay, over here, over here, over here, here. You're down there. Your 1-hour RSI was in oversold territory, starting to get bought up down here. Okay, like price was getting bought up as you were oversold. So, I'm honestly expecting buyers to step in down here. We got to see if you can reclaim this trend line, and then we got to see if you can get back above 198.16. 198.16, there's a lot of reactions that happen around that level. You're going to have the short-term moving averages over here, except instead of testing them from above like you did on all of these, okay, these 3 times, you're going to be underneath. So you have to hold, you have to get back above there because, you know, naturally you're going to get rejection. So expect rejection. If you're longing down here, sell into here. All right. You know, if it reclaims 198.16, get a daily close above there, you're probably going to start making your way back up. That's how I'm seeing Google. That's how I'm, you know, going to be playing this. And that is that. Amazon, and that is also a great, you know, just a reminder over here. You know, I personally took off the short-term calls over here and just kind of held the March ones. I didn't have too much, but you know, I also didn't think you were just gonna get a fat nasty gap down there. I didn't. The setup was phenomenal. But it is a great reminder here to always take off the short dated calls if you are playing earnings. It's not worth it. All right, if you have some data on it, you can get the recovery. You could sell it for less of a loss. You know, or break even if prices to come, you know, all the way back up here, right here. Okay, you know, sell for break even. But if it's over here, you know, you at least don't sell for a tragic loss. You get a little bit of the back you can. Let's say you had the February 21st calls and held into this event. You're down bad. You're going to need price to now return. It's going to have to go back up to highs for you to get out with, you know, really anything there. Because, you know, odds are on that bet you just made, the call bet, that's all options is. You're taking a bet. You have time. You have a strike price. Get over there before then. That's literally an option. All right. Well, it is so unproblem now that thing is worth very little money. You don't want to be in that situation. So just a reminder there. Moving on over here to Amazon, guys. This is the start of the show. Tomorrow after the bell, we are pulling back here the short-term moving averages over here on the daily time frame. And I will just point out, you do have that nice wick over here. The weekly candle doesn't really matter so much, but I will just point out. Now, again, Google was set up, you know, in a similar way. It's really bullish heading into it. Pull back to the short-term moving average. You just start popping up. Same exact thing over here on Google, all right? Pull back short-term moving average, just start popping up. So, you know, keep that one in mind. We do have the bullish setup over here, but I don't know what's going to happen. You have had no good reaction to big tech earnings. You got Apple over here, gapped up, faded, okay? Completely faded over there. You had Google over here, gap down. All right. You had Tesla. Tesla was kind of crazy, but, you know, I'm not going to, it didn't give you a pop. So don't expect any of these big tech earnings really to be giving the pop. Maybe Amazon's going to be the only one, but don't go into the event expecting it. Tesla did this whole crap. Okay. Went down, you know, yeah, it went down quite a bit, went up quite a bit. That was Tesla. Okay. Microsoft, you just tanked. Met over here. You went down a bit, you went up a bit. All right, but none of them took flight. So just, you know, keep that in mind going into Amazon. Don't expect to do anything crazy. The market's probably just going to keep playing how technicals are, you know, suggestions going to play out. Going to keep going by those technicals. Every chance the market has had to sell, there's big tech earnings. You had FOMC, like straight up every chance. You had the DeepSeek thing. Any chance the market has gotten to sell recently has been bought. Okay, that dip has been bought. I do think the market's going to make its way back up to highs. It's just, you know, a matter of when that happens. Probably not even going to have to happen during big tech, you know, earnings season here. It's probably going to happen the following week, honestly. But we'll see how this goes. Okay. Apple, you are finding buyers for the third day in a row on the golden pocket, as well as right over here, right off your 227.03 support. If buyers were going to step in, it was going to be right over here. All right, I think I actually, let me look at this. Pull up Apple over here. Oh, right here. Yeah, it was right here at the bottom. I was like, yeah, you know, buyers are going to step in. It's going to be really right here. Got to hold this golden pocket. If 225 is lost, then we can come back down to 219.71 support. At that point, we'll have to see if support holds, because 219.71 support will be a head and shoulders neckline. Big old head and shoulders here, guys. But buyers, you can see how ugly that looks, right? Well, let's compare that to the current chart. As you can see, buyers really turned this thing around, closed that daily candle with the doji candle. They stepped in right where they had to, and then you put in a bullish engulfing candlestick, and then another inside day following that candlestick. This is a bullish setup, ladies and gents. This thing's probably going to snap back. Probably by Friday. You want to get back above 237.23. From that point, you could start coming back up here to 247.33 resistance. And then we will see what happens. You get above 251.50, we come up to 260.10, but we'll have to take this as we go. And right now, bulls are, you know, setting up here. You know, they're consolidating over here. They're putting in a little base, a little range action right here, and they want to break above it. You could tell it is a bullish setup. I think it's very likely that we're going to push up and probably test 237.23 in the short term. Come over here to Tesla, guys. You do have this nice, you know, bullish pennant, whatever you want to call this thing, bull flag, bullish pennant. We don't know how this thing's going to actually, play out here. If it breaks down, you're coming down to 358.64, and it will be what it is. Okay, there's no doing anything about it. You have 358.64, and then you're gonna have 318.75 down here. We'll call it 320, which is gonna be where the golden pocket for this most recent advance. This is a very impulsive move that you just had up. That's where the retracement is going to be 125% move. Yeah, I think it's safe to call that an impulsive move. All right. But again, this is where price can get tight. It can consolidate here right around the short-term moving average over here on the weekly time frame, just like it did over here, just like it did over here. This is where they get tight, and then they have these impulsive moves come out of them. Okay. So we're going to have to see what happens here. I don't personally know. I was, looking for a move to the upside. It was looking really promising. It was looking promising here. It was looking promising here. It was looking promising, honestly, the other day. But now, all right, I don't know. We're going to have to see if this holds down here. I'm going to say if you break like 370, all right, if you break that, we'll just put this right here. Okay, we'll put an alert literally for 370, 371. If that alert gets hit, it's probably clipped for Tesla over here, probably come down to 358.64. We're going to have to see if that holds. Then you come down here, all right? The golden pocket for this most recent move up, you're in it, all right? You don't want to come down here, but we'll see what happens, okay? So, you have that, or you can retrace the whole move. So if this doesn't hold over here, you're just going to come down to 320, okay? You'd be like, Henry, why are you could just retrace every move at that point. If that one doesn't hold, you could keep moving the goalpost. No, you can't. All right. You have this most recent move that's a smaller scale move, and then we have this move on the weekly time from over here. Okay, you can see it went vertical starting right here. If this retracement doesn't hold, just to look for the next big retracement. That's all I'm saying. Okay. That's what we're looking at for over a little testy over here. I don't know how that's going to go. Ideally, you just pray you somehow shoot back up to 420 all in one day, and boom, you're off the all-time highs, but it's probably not going to be the case. We'll see how that goes. Microsoft here, still finding buyers down here for the third day in a row off our 405.57 to 410.29 demand zone. 4-hour RSI, you can see over here, extended hours on. It is in the same spot. It keeps bouncing back from. Okay, this is where you find buyers. You are now getting back above your short-term moving average over here on the 4-hour time frame, which in this case is the 9 EMA. As you can see, all right, you're kind of just, continuously finding sellers around the short-term moving average, and then you finally get above it. Well, let's see if we really can get above it here. I want to get above. I want to see 420 tested, honestly. I'm just going to put an alert over here, and at that point, you probably are going to start making your way up here to 427.55. All right, but we'll just take that off. We'll come over here, and you could very clearly see what's happening. I want to see you snap up above 414.85 right here, and above 414.85. You're probably going to come into this mess, which is around 420. That's where I got that alert. Get above here, above this mess. You have a clear shot up here to 427.55. All right, where we are getting those reactions. And you could see you kind of just, you gap down here, and you sold right through it. You get above this little gap resistance, you come up here to 427.55. Meta, final Mag 7 stock, guys. Just remember, this is a very impulsive move that's happening. Dips are going to remain buying opportunities. But if you are buying down here with me, you had no reason to continuously hold into this move. You are up bigly on this whole move right here. Okay, if you're a buyer down here, no matter if you're in February calls, if you're in March calls, you were guaranteed you got your 50 to 100% out of here. On this channel, if you're not new to me, all right, I'm not an advocate for short-term options trading. All right, follow along with the stocks that I cover here on this channel every week, and you can easily continuously pull 50 to 100% gains out with 2 to 3 month out options, and I will walk you through it every time here on this channel. Okay, we were buyers down here as I bought almost the top up here. I bought some time though. All right, and if you were a buyer in this area with me, you have no reason to hold past here. It looks like it could pull back here. You could start going into consolidation mode again. And I'm just saying there's no reason. You just caught, $100 move here. Okay. It went from $600 down up to $700. You don't have a reason to expect it to just keep, going vertical here. It could very well start consolidating. So something to keep in mind. All right. But on that consolidation, like I was saying, dip is definitely going to be a buying opportunity. Okay. If this thing, takes its time, comes down here. Okay. Pulls back to the daily 21 over here, it's probably going to be where buyers start to step in. Okay. Chips, AMD, you had earnings, guys. You shat the bed. What do you expect from AMD, guys? This is known to be the troll of the channel. That's why we don't really like it. That's why we don't talk about it too much. That's why we don't play it. Because it does crap. Okay, and the chart looks like crap. So just understand, yes, it's building out that daily bullish divergence we just saw on the RSI there, but this thing has continuously just been falling for quite some time. You got to you got to start taking out this high, honestly, around 120 for you to really start thinking this thing is going to start turning around. And that's just the start, okay? Because in the weekly chart, yeah, you gotta 125, 130 over here. You wanna reclaim 130.11, 132.11. That's where this high is over here. This last swing higher here in the weekly time frame. This thing's gonna take a lot for it to really turn around. I don't think it's worth putting your energy into. Okay, you have ARM earnings going on. They did end up selling off of earnings. Again, with these bullish setups, guys, everything's looking really bullish. Hey, big tech earnings. It's not giving the market a pump. It's pulling the market back. Okay. I gave you a setup to watch during that, that period, though, that's going to do very well, and that was Nvidia. Okay, Nvidia is doing very well. There you go. Big break in retest off that upper trend line of this bull pennant. All right, I do think this dip shall be bought. It doesn't have to be bought right away, but I think it's likely going to be bought from around here, 156.40 to 159.36. We'll see what happens. Okay, we'll see what happens, but clear as day. You guys can see the same thing I'm seeing. This thing wants to make its way back up to highs. We'll see what gets it up there. TSM not looking bad over here. Reclaim this little zone we talked about. You were underneath it. You were underneath the short-term moving averages. Really get above 212.60. All right, right here you could see it. That's a gap between this price action down here and this little bar up here. Okay, all right. It's like an island reversal, except not really, but all right, that's what separates you. Get above 212.60, you could start making your way back up to 226.40. Okay. Now, just a brief little update on some stocks, some trade ideas I gave you not too long ago. All right, first things first, Oklo. It did end up hitting 50. All right, I told you about it on this dip over here. I've told you about it a lot over this, over this period. But there's that. LLY. It is up to 846.46. Who remembers this level? Ugly double bottom neckline right there, 846.46. Break above there. That's when you start your move up to new all-time highs. You have earnings right around the corner. Tomorrow after the bell, we will see what happens over here. Costco. Weekly chart. Freaking explosive, ladies and gents. I know it doesn't look like the biggest move happened today, 2%. But guys, it's making the options go freaking nuts. Okay, I gave this to you down here. I then gave it to you right over here. You're pulling back off of the 0.786 fib. I thought it was going to come down here, but either way, pullback was a buying opportunity. Everyone knew about that one if you were paying attention to my videos. I really do wish I caught this massive move up here. I do. It was freaking phenomenal. Okay, we have another thing that's probably going to start moving. So what is it? Netflix. I gave you this one before it broke out as well. I gave you that in the last video over here, consolidating here in this bull pennant, and I do think this thing is about to fly. Last time we had this pretty much exact setup over here, gapped up off of earnings, consolidated for 1.5 to 2 weeks over here, 2 weeks right there in that bullish pennant, gapped up off of earnings to new highs, consolidated for, say with me, 2 weeks right there in that bullish pennant. You're now starting to break away. All right, break away from your earnings gap over there. You're continuing higher. What happens after that first day? Over the next 6 trading sessions, you were up to $60. What happens if we are going to be up $60 here in the next 6 trading sessions? Guys, we are going to be up here at 1,070. I'm shooting for 1,040 in the short term. All right, but I do think we're probably going to have another $100 leg up here. I think probably 1,100 is going to be hit. Personally, I'm playing that strike, but I don't, I'm not going to be playing it to get hit. I'm going to have about 100% gain once we see 1030, 1040. All right. Nonetheless, guys, this literally just started moving. So I'll definitely put it on your radar nice and early. I gave it before it broke out. I gave it to you before it broke out the other day, and now it is breaking out. So I'm putting it pretty much day one over here of this breakout above, 999 previous all-time highs. All right, new daily closing high. There you go. HIMS, guys, it did start getting puts coming in today. Puts started coming in today. Some pretty big orders. All right, and ever since then, you started pulling back. I do think HIMS is probably going to start pulling back here. All right, it is clear as day going to be a buying opportunity. I don't think you're going to come back down all the way over here. I really don't. The retracement here is going to be all the way back down towards 32 bucks, 0.618. I don't think that's going to happen. I think you're more likely just going to come back and test 35.02. I think that is a clear as day buying opportunity. I'm going to put an alert right here in case we get, one fat, nasty red day and we get that buying opportunity. But, if you see a flush like that, it's clear as day a buying opportunity. This thing just broke out the new highs and it is going higher. All right. Now, I put this on your radar the other day. I'm just here to say I put it on your radar right here. I'm here to say this thing is starting to break down. You want to hold 85.80. Or, just don't. Honestly, I wouldn't touch until reclaims 93.19 with what it's doing right here. But now I will also say maybe, this pullback right here, instead of this downtrend, this trend line right here being your neckline, what if it's actually just this level right here, 93.19? You have a left shoulder right here. You have a head right here. You have a shoulder in the making right here. And then once you come back up, maybe you fall a little more, come back up. Well, now, guys, you have that completed pattern here. Let's just draw that out. You have that completed pattern. Okay. There you go. And then maybe you start your move back up the high. So, just a little adjustment along the path I gave you for this ticker specifically over here. All right. And actually, MSTR earnings. I think those were in after hours. It doesn't look like we got much of any move over here. Honestly, I don't know if these guys are going to be moving like I was expecting in the short term. They're not doing too much. I'm going to be completely honest. Bitcoin I thought was going to be shooting up to new highs after we printed this daily hammer over here. It's not looking like it wants to do that just yet. All right, we're going to stay in consolidation here. I don't think you're going to take out this low, but I think you're going to stay in consolidation. And that does mean MSTR and coin over here are probably not even going to be moving. So that is something to keep in mind. I give you plenty of trade ideas that are moving. Specifically over here, most recent one, Nvidia, Costco, but Nvidia, like the thing I will usually be hammering a play. I will hammer the table with a play. And, over here on NVIDIA, guys, you kind of got picture perfect what you needed to see today. You have, I forgot to mention this the other day. You came down here. I made the last video over here on Monday. I skipped yesterday's video. I'm sorry, guys. It got to be like 9 o'clock. I was like, I'm going to be honest. I don't really want to make a video right now. And, I didn't think much was changing from the last time I made a video. And as we could see, guys, we have the daily bullish divergence stemming from that 36.85 mark on the daily RSI, where price, for the last 10 plus times now, it's been 11 times. You've hit that over the last 2 years. You have had like a 10% bounce in the short term. Okay, this time it literally popped up the next day. Now we've gotten that 10% bounce already. I think we are going to be heading up here, though. It's not, from my back testing, is 10% plus from the close, and that is going to bring us all the way up here to like 128-ish. All right, so I do think we're going to get into that 127.67 to 131.26 zone up there. I think it's just, a waiting game there. But I'm always putting, these ideas on your radar here that are going to be moving. I gave you Goog, I gave you Amazon before Goog decided to crap the bed. All right, I gave you these things before they really started moving. Okay, I gave you Apple before it really started moving. All right, I gave it to you over there. I gave it to you, somewhere over here. Well, I mean, it was probably on the trend line break, guys. I give you a lot of stuff. I cannot, fully keep track of everything specifics. Okay. But for the most part, I think we got a pretty good head on our body over here. And we are, we're running this market pretty consistently over here on these main tickers. All right. Not everything's going to be perfect, but a lot of things are going to be pretty spot on. Dips remain buying opportunities, guys. QQ is probably going to be pushing up to new highs by next week. That's my opinion. Look at the weekly chart. Does that scream anything bearish to you? That screams to break and retest. The thing is consolidating here for about 2 months, and the thing's about to push up, break out, and then have another leg up. At that point, we're probably going to get another $30 to $40 move up. People are getting bearish on the market. I see no reason to get bearish on the market. With that being said, I hope everybody has a lovely rest of the day. I appreciate y'all, and peace.